Hey guys, we're here with our Week 9 battle of NPL Season 3, and this week we take on AdamTheBeesKnees and the Kansas City Kakunas. Adam will definitely be down in the description below. Make sure you guys go check him out. He's an excellent battler in the league format. He was actually a runner-up for Season 2 of the NPL. Definitely worth checking out. He does a lot of league content, so make sure you guys go check him out. Once again, he is in the description below. Once again, no team builder this week. Adam and I unfortunately had this battle pretty late on Sunday. We had pretty bad schedule conflicting, so we never really got a good chance to battle each other. So once again, no team builder. I do apologize for that. So real quick, I will go over his team, and then I will go over my team briefly. Excuse me. So Adam decided to bring to this match Jirachi, Dugtrio, Togekiss. That sounds familiar. I wonder where I've seen that before. Blastoise, Xurkitree, and Mega Beedrill. My team this week is going... real quick, Adam did not bring Entei and a bunch of weak-ass shit that don't matter. I'm just kidding. Actually, I don't remember off the top of my head. I know he didn't bring Entei. Alolan Persian. I know he has that. I know he has Masquerain. I know he has Hitmonlee. I cannot think of the last thing at the moment, but it doesn't matter because he didn't bring it. My team, briefly, is Landorus. Landorus is Rock Polish this week. If I can get a Rock Polish off, there's very little on his team that's actually going to stop me. Rock Polish allows me to outspeed Mega Beedrill. I OHKO Beedrill. I OHKO Xurkitree. I 2-hit KO Togekiss. I OHKO after rocks in most cases with Togekiss. I OHKO Dugtrio unless he is Focus Sash, in which case I obviously 2-hit KO, but he cannot touch me. And I OHKO Jirachi. Blastoise is a bit of a different story. It all depends on his set. In some test matches, Blastoise was able to live 3 Earth Powers and kill me back with Ice Beam. So whittling down Blastoise would be ideal, just to be on the safe side. My moveset is Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and I had Focus Blast because... Oh, Kyurem! That was the last thing he didn't bring. There you go. See? Everything happens for a reason. I had Focus Blast to be able to hit the Kyurem to guarantee the OHKO, and the Alolan Persian to guarantee the OHKO. Volcanion this week is a bit of a weird set, kind of a bulkier set. This is my best Jirachi answer I have because I don't think he can afford to bring electric coverage to be able to hit my Volcanion. I think he has to bring... Iron Head. I think he has to bring Fire Punch. I think he has to bring Ice Punch. And I think he has to... I don't think he can afford to bring a 4th move. I think he needs Wish. I think he needs Toxic. I think he needs Rocks. I think he needs some kind of support move. I don't think he can afford to go with an electric coverage, but just in case he does, I am EV to be able to live +1 Thunderbolts in case he is Z Happy Hour, because Jirachi is his Z-Mon as well. Volcanion is also holding a Shed Shell, which prevents me from being trapped by the Dugtrio. If I can go out into Dugtrio on the obvious Earthquake into Landorus, I can set up a Rock Polish, and I could either A, win the game, or B, put a huge dent in his team. Landorus' moveset is Steam Eruption, Fire Blast, or Flamethrower. I think it's Fire Blast, Haze, and Toxic. Roserade this week is actually pretty Fizz Death. This is my answer to Xurkitree. I could take pretty much anything he wants to... Actually, I'm sorry, not Fizz Death, Spidef. I don't know why I said Fizz Death. I can take pretty much any hit Xurkitree wants to throw out at me. I'm EV to be able... I have a little bit of Fizz Death investment, so I'm EV to be able to live Jolly Poison Jabs from Beedrill. A Poison Jab, I should say. The coverage is Synthesis because I want to stay nice and healthy for the Xurkitree. And then Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, and HP Fire just so Jirachi doesn't completely fuck me. Scizor this week is Fizz Death. This was an answer. It's mostly just a pivot. This is also a really good switch into Beedrill. U-turn, Bullet Punch, Roost, and Defog. I cannot afford to let Rocks be up on my side. That would be pretty much detrimental. So just a defensive pivot, how I usually run Scizor. Tyrantrum is kind of a weird set this week. Tyrantrum is a Dragon Dance set with Head Smash and Earthquake, but I also have Stealth Rock. He has a Spinner and Blastoise. He has a Defogger and Togekiss, and technically Beedrill gets Defog, so, better watch out for that. If I can get up Rocks versus his team, it would be pretty great. I can break the sash on Dugtrio, I can stop Togekiss from coming in, and I can pretty much put a halt into his Volturn core, specifically with Beedrill. If I can set up a Dragon Dance as well, I outspeed his entire team except for Beedrill, and I can put some serious damage into his team with Head Smash and Earthquake. If I get up 2 Dragon Dances, that will enable me to outspeed the Beedrill, but I doubt I'm going to be able to get 2 up. Sylveon is another potential answer to Xurkitree. It's also a good answer to Togekiss. I have Heal Bell on this just in case he wants to run the Cancer Togekiss set that I like. Excuse me. It has Wish as well for support. Hyper Voice for Stab and Shadow Ball, so I'm not completely walled by Jirachi once again. So that's the team we were rocking this week, and let's just go ahead and jump and see what happened during this battle. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with my Scizor so I can get my Mega Evolution off and I can pivot out early, knowing that Adam really likes to lead off with his Beedrill and that he can't touch me and I can get a slow U-turn off. He actually doesn't decide to Mega Evolve and U-turn, rather he just goes straight into his Xurkitree, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve and I can get a U-turn off and I can go into whatever I want to handle these Xurkitree, which I believe I already said was going to be my Roserade. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight into my Roserade, and I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction that he goes into Jirachi, and I'm actually going to click HP Fire turn 1. I had a feeling he would Volt Switch. He, based on these calcs, and we didn't see Life Orb, I don't think he specs either, so that looks like a Scarf Xurkitree to me. I'm going to go ahead and click HP Fire, predicting the Jirachi switch in, but he actually goes into Beedrill, which works out perfectly fine. That's actually probably just as good, if not better, because Beedrill kind of puts a dent in my team if I lose Scizor. So I'm going to go ahead and go right back into my Scizor. As I said, this is my Beedrill answer. He is probably going to Mega Evolve and U-turn out. If he was dumb, he could have clicked Poison Jab, in which case I could revenge him easily with a U-turn or a Bullet Punch. But he makes the smart play, and he goes out into, for the U-turn. He's going to go ahead and go out into his Xurkitree. This began to worry me. I wondered why he kept going into Xurkitree. Now, knowing that I can live any hit, I'm actually going to go ahead and click U-turn. Or I might click Roost. I don't remember. We had this battle last night. I don't really remember off the top of my head. Yes, I do click Roost. I wanted to scout what he was going to go for and what his plan was with Xurkitree to see if he had HP Fire, knowing I can live one potentially. It was a roll in my favor to live the HP Fire from that range. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Sylveon, which, as I already mentioned, is my Togekiss check. Now, okay. I make a weird play here. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Landorus. I think that he wants to make the play, and he goes into his Jirachi. I don't think he's willing to sacrifice his Togekiss like this, and that's why I made the hard switch into Landorus. Knowing that he doesn't want to, I cannot take another Air Slash, I'm actually going to go ahead and go straight back into my Sylveon. Weird play, I know. I'll explain later. He actually clicks HP. I can only assume HP Ice. Gets a crit on my Sylveon. Crit does not matter at all. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and try to fire off a Hyper Voice. If I get low enough, I could potentially try to Wish Up. But there is a 60% chance every single turn that I don't do anything. So I got to be very, very careful. He goes for a couple of Air Slashes. I mean, there's not much I can talk about here. I get flinched a few times. Yeah. God, commentary is hard. So I take an Air Slash again. I get flinched twice, and then I'm finally able to get a Wish off. However, I do not have Protect on this set, as I traded it out for Heal Bell. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and go into my Volcanion, knowing I could potentially scare this thing out, as he actually goes into his Jirachi, predicting me to want to Protect. But like I said, I do not carry Protect on this set, so I can go ahead and go into my Volcanion. Waste of a Wish, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and scare this thing out with a Fire Blast. I click Fire Blast. I could have potentially clicked Toxic on this Blastoise switch in, but that's perfectly fine. Now, knowing those calcs, that is a very, very specially defensive Blastoise, to the point where it could even potentially be a V. And you guys see right here that he brings Earthquake. Now, I don't think he would bring Earthquake on a non-AV Blastoise. I think his set is Scald, Ice Beam, Rapid Spin, EQ with AV. I know you're set at this point, Adam, so it's pretty much just GG from there. He actually goes straight into his Beedrill, makes a really interesting play as I click Giga Drain. I'm not going to be able to live a hit at this point, so I have to switch out. I have to go hard Scizor as he clicks U-turn. And if I can get Rocks up at any point during this game, the Beedrill is going to be dead, unless he can spin them away, of course, but yada, yada, yada. That's all very situational. He clicks U-turn. He's down to 7% as I bring in my Scizor. Whew. He goes into his Jirachi. Now, the fact that he goes into his Jirachi here makes me think he has Fire Punch. I don't want to risk going for the slow U-turn because I think he does have it. I mean, there's so many things he could switch out into. He chose Jirachi. That screams Fire Punch to me. So I'm going to go ahead and make the safe play into my Volcanion, knowing I can take any hit. And I can scare this thing out with another Fire Blast. Now, what I actually do here is I click Steam Eruption because even if you want to stay in with Jirachi, I still potentially get a burn. And I can do a lot more damage to whatever he wants to. It's actually the same amount of damage if he wants to go into Blastoise. But I have that 30% chance for a burn, which does indeed happen. So we can start whittling down this Blastoise slowly. He doesn't have recovery, which is another reason why I believe him to be AV. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Roserade as he makes the good play and clicks Ice Beam. However, that is not going to do very much to my specially defensive Roserade. And I'm in a position where I scare him out with a Giga Drain. Now, right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and click Giga Drain, knowing that this Blastoise needs to go. If he wants to make the switch back out into Beedrill, then Beedrill will die. And that's actually exactly what he does. So Beedrill will drop to my Roserade. That is actually Roserade's first kill of the season. So shout out to Week 9 being memorable for that reason. He goes out into his Togekiss, knowing that I cannot stay in. The fact that he goes into it here makes me believe that he is very speedy. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and sack off my Sylveon. I can try to get a clean switch and do something else that can deal with this Togekiss. I forget what I decide it's going to be. Volcanion, why not? I'm going to go ahead and try to scare this thing out with a Steam Eruption. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a double into, I believe, Tyrantrum. I thought that I would scare him out. But once again, I did not. He goes for an Air Slash. It does about 30% to my Tyrantrum. And that is bad news bears. That is two very interestingly bad misplays on my part. I take the L on that one. I'm going to go ahead and switch back into my Volcanion, knowing I can take pretty much any hit from this Togekiss as he goes into his Xurkitree, and I cannot stay in on a Xurkitree. I have to go hard Roserade. Even if he clicks HP Ice, I know I can take 2 from this range, but he does decide to make the good play and click Volt Switch. He can go out into pretty much anything that can deal with my Roserade at this point, and he decides it's going to be his Togekiss. Clearly this thing is just not a fun time at all. Yeah. There's not much I could say. I'm going to go into my Volcanion. It's my most specially defensive mon at this point, other than Roserade that obviously cannot take an Air Slash. Volcanion is going to take 31% from an Air Slash. He's going to go for one more Air Slash, and he gets a flinch, which is unfortunate. I could still potentially take one more Air Slash, but I cannot risk going out into something else. I don't take another Air Slash. Even if I did, there was a chance he got the flinch anyway, so no big deal. Volcanion is going to drop. However, Volcanion is the only thing that's stopping Jirachi from becoming a humongous issue. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to click Bullet Punch because I cannot let this Togekiss become more of a problem. He goes out into his Xurkitree, which fortunately will be 2-hit KO'd by this Bullet Punch. I get a second crit on the second turn. That obviously did not matter. Xurkitree is going to drop to our Scizor this week, and he's going to go ahead and go into his Jirachi. Now, right here, I have to... I cannot stay in versus this thing. I cannot even touch it. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Roserade as he actually activates the Z Happy Hour, which will give him +1 into every stat. And, oh, would you look at that. I am fresh out of answers to this thing. Wow. Okay, so Heart Stamp will be able to kill my Roserade, which is RIP. So that will drop. He has Fire Punch and Heart Stamp at this point. I was willing to gamble that he didn't have Iron Head at this point, mostly because it's my only potential way to win, but he is smart. He has the Iron Head. That will be able to kill my Tyrantrum. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Landorus, hoping that some miracle happens and I can live an Iron Head. I cannot. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Scizor, because it's my last Mon, and I'm going to click Bullet Punch for the memes, which will do a whopping 11%. So, I mean, if I was ever in a position where Bullet Punch could have won me the game, it wasn't going to. He gets a crit on the Fire Punch, 100% did not matter. Yeah, we take a pretty bad 4-0 loss, but definitely good game to Adam. He played well. I did not. I'm not trying to take anything away from Adam. I'm sorry if I'm trying to sound salty. It's just... irony sucks. If you guys did not know, Jirachi, Dugtrio, Togekiss was a huge part of my core last season in Season 2 of the NPL. And I'm very happy it's doing well, that's for dang sure. But definitely congratulations to Adam. Good game to him. As I said, he will be down in the description below. Misplays. I think, honestly, the biggest misplay came from prep. I did not bring nearly enough speedy things. I brought bulkier things, thinking I would be able to outbulk his offense, but clearly that did not work out. In addition, I made those couple of weird plays around the Toga Kiss. I played really bad around Toga Kiss, and I recognize that, but this is a game I'm ultimately trying to improve myself on all the time. So, anyways, good game to Adam. This drops us to 5-4, and we are shaking in our boots a little bit. We need to step up our game, otherwise we might miss playoffs this season. But luckily, we are going into division, and this is where we could make it or break it. We are heading back into our division matches, and next week we take on Infernus Gaming, a.k.a. Ben, the coach of the Los Angeles Gogoats, who we won against earlier this season. And he has a slightly different team this year, or for the second battle, he did make some transactions, so I'm looking forward to that match. This is definitely going to make it or break it for me. But anyways, I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, a like and a subscription would be much appreciated. Next week, as I said, we take on the Los Angeles Gogoats and their coach, Ben. So I will see you guys for hopefully another team prep and not another just straight up battle video again this week. So I hope I do see you guys for a team prep video next week. And I will see you guys then. Later.